Kalian jangan sampai tertipu.
Kalau kamu busuk.
Welcome back everyone. Today I will recap the 2021 Indonesian horror film named Makmum 2. The link to part 1 is in the description. Before we start, it is a request to please like and comment on the video as it will help us to grow our reach. At the beginning of the movie, we see Rini, and here we learn that she was married to 𝐀𝐿𝐷𝐿, but now he is dead. She then gets a call from an unknown number, and 𝐸𝐿𝐹 informs her that her Auntie has died. Rini gets upset to know this, and while she is praying, the lights in her room begin flickering and then it gets dark there. Rini gets up and continues her prayers, but we see a spirit behind her following her. The next day, Rini with her son Hafiz reaches her village Suan, and we come to know that her village is in a very remote area where there is neither electricity nor signals. Meanwhile, a man tells villagers that he will bring electricity and cell networks to their village, but 𝐇𝐄𝐏 tells him that he is the 5th staff to come here and they don't want electricity. Ustad then tells 𝐇𝐄𝐏 that it's enough, and then he asks villagers if they want electricity and signals in their village, to which everyone says no. He then tells the staff that it's their answer and they are happily living here, and the most important thing is that they can focus on their prayers. After he leaves, Ustad asks everyone to go home and they will go to late Mrs. Yanti's place together later. He then asks Zahar if he has the same opinion as him, to which he says he asked his opinion before, but he still cut the tree near the mosque. 𝐸𝐿𝐹 then tries to explain to him that don't make their village go through a drought like the other villages. They need a water pump to get clean water, and for that they need electricity. Ustad says their neighboring village got help at first, everything got built, but then they were expelled from their own farm. The scene then shifts to Yanti's funeral, where Rini has already reached with Hafiz, and villagers are praying for Yanti. Later, Rini overhears some women talking that Yanti's death is abnormal, and it's because she entered the Forbidden Forest, and it is said that she was taken there by 𝐁𝐿𝐴. Now after Yanti's burial, 𝐸𝐿𝐹 meets Rini and Hafiz, and she thanks him for letting them know. He asks her if is she still managing the boarding house, to which she says she is still the head there and also managing a small online shop. He then asks her about her husband, to which she tells him that he died 3 years ago. Only then did she notice they are building a new mosque there, and while she was talking to 𝐸𝐿𝐹, she sees that Hafiz is going towards the forest. She goes there to stop him and tells him not to go there as it's the Forbidden Forest. That night, while Rini is praying, she gets scared seeing someone's shadow behind her, and then someone repeats prayers after her. After a while, we see that spirit behind her, and then it appears on the roof. Rini looks back and finds no one there, and she asks God to forgive her for not concentrating on her prayer. Only then the spirit calls her name, but she doesn't see anyone there, and then she hears Hafiz talking to someone. Now while she is going to check Hafiz, the spirit calls her name and we see it rising behind her, and when Rini turns back, it disappears. However, suddenly it haunts her, due to which she gets terrified. She then goes to check on Hafiz and finds him sleeping, so she blows the lamp and leaves there. However, the lamp light again, and Hafiz wakes up hearing some noise, and he gets haunted by a spirit under the floor. The next day, when she draws water from the well, she finds that it's dirty, and only then she sees the reflection of that spirit in it. She then goes to her neighbor Lastri, who tells her that the water here is dirty for 2 months, but it's dirty only in this village. Meanwhile, we see Hafiz playing with local kids in the forest, and on the other hand, Ustad notices that the walls of the mosque are cracking, and 𝐇𝐄𝐏 tells him that it was like this when they arrived. Ustad asks him if it's the mortar, to which he takes him out and tells him that they are using the best quality materials. 𝐸𝐿𝐹 and 𝐸𝐿𝐹 then come there playing, and Ustad tells them to go home and pray as dusk is coming. Hafiz then also reaches there, and the other kid begin entering the Forbidden Forest. Hafiz tries to stop him, but 𝐸𝐿𝐹 stop him and tell him to let him go. Later, he tells Rini that a limp boy entered the Forbidden Forest, to which she tells him not to enter the forest. We then see them all in the mosque, where Lastri tells Rini that the mosque wall cracked. Now while everyone was praying, Hafiz sees that limp boy sitting outside the mosque and he waves at him. He tries to ignore him, but the boy calls him out and Hafiz begins following him. After a while, the boy disappears, and Hafiz sees villagers leaving the mosque. Only then the torch there blows off, due to which he gets scared and runs back to the mosque, but finds that there is no one there. The lamps there then go off, so he runs out of the mosque but gets terrified seeing a ghost there and faints. Lastri tells Rini that her kid is lying outside, and when she comes out, she sees villagers trying to wake Hafiz up. Later, he tells her that he doesn't want to be here anymore, to which she promises him that they are going home tomorrow. The next day, 𝐈𝐻 and 𝐈𝐃𝐿 come there to play with him, and Rini tells him to go to play and she will call him when Uncle Aleph comes. We then see them playing hide and seek when suddenly someone taps him on the shoulder, but when he looks back, he gets scared seeing that limp boy going behind a tree. The boy then calls him, and Hafiz goes to him, and 𝐈𝐻 and 𝐈𝐃𝐿 see him doing so. Meanwhile, Aleph visits Rini, and she tells him that she feels something weird in this village, and asks him does he know who that limp boy is. To which he says as far as he knows there are only 𝐈𝐻 and 𝐈𝐃𝐿 in this village. Rini gets shocked to know this and she runs out to look for Hafiz, and she tells Ustad that she believes the kids go into the forest. She runs into the forest looking for Hafiz, where she finds Hafiz, 𝐈𝐻, and 𝐈𝐃𝐿 lying unconscious on a rock. Aleph, Lastri, and Ayesha also come there following her, and they all try to wake up their kids. They bring them back to the village and find that they all are possessed, and Rini tells Ustad that the spirits are angry because they went into the forbidden forest. Ustad says it's just a story and asks her not to believe such things. Later that evening, Rini tries to feed Hafiz, but he is not eating or drinking anything. She says she is going to get a napkin, and when she leaves there, we see that Hafiz is being held by a spirit. Meanwhile, while Lastri doing her prayers, when suddenly the window of her room opens on its own, and we see a spirit standing outside her house, which disappears the next moment. The window then suddenly gets shut, and she gets terrified. On the other hand, while Rini is praying, we see Hafiz pointing his finger towards the side, and we see a spirit behind Rini following her prayers. She then notices that Hafiz is moaning, and when she goes to him, suddenly someone knocks on the door. She goes out to check and finds no one there, and as she turns, she gets shocked to see that Hafiz is gone. Only then she hears splashing sounds from outside, and when she goes out, she finds Hafiz drowning in the well. Rini panics seeing this and lowers the rope in there, and when she pulls the rope out, she gets shocked to see that Hafiz did not come up nor is he in the well. Only then does she notice white flowers in the bucket, similar to what she saw in the forest, and suddenly an entity haunts her, due to which she gets terrified. Hafiz then comes out of the house and faints there. The next day, she asks Ayesha did 𝐈𝐃𝐿 ever tell her about a limp boy. She says he did, to which Rini asks her where does he live. Ayesha says there is no limp boy here, so he must have made that up. Rini tells her that 𝐈𝐻 and Hafiz see that boy too, so the boy is real, and this could be the beginning of a danger to them. She then goes to Lastri and asks her the same. Lastri says he did, but the boy doesn't exist. 𝐈𝐻 got sick last month, and the limp boy was made up to accompany him. Rini tells her that Hafiz told her that he saw the boy go into the forest and that the limp boy might be the key to their boy's recovery. Lastri says she doesn't want to get into this and leaves there. Later that night, we see Hafiz climbing a tree and villagers are cheering for him. Rini comes there and gets horrified to see this and asks him to come down, but Hafiz jumps down and Rini wakes up from her sleep. She then goes to check on him and gets shocked to see a bruise on his leg. The next day, she goes to Ayesha and tells her that Hafiz and 𝐈𝐻 have the same bruise on their legs. Ayesha says she is just following what Ustad says as he knows best. Rini asks her if she is bothered by a Makmum lately, a spirit who disturbs them when they do their prayers. Ayesha gets up and asks her does she mean 𝐂𝐿. She then says that her father will be home soon, so she should leave. She then finds Lastri standing under that tree, but she leaves there as Rini comes there. She goes to her and asks her why did she go to the new mosque, but Lastri tries to ignore her. Rini asks her if she saw 𝐈𝐻 climbing that tree in her dream. Lastri stops and begins crying saying she did, and she doesn't know what's happening. Rini says she knows she can see spirits since she was a kid, but she sees them often lately as if they want to convey something. That evening, 𝐇𝐄𝐒 tells Rini that Ustad's grandson has recovered, and that's why she should believe in him. Rini goes to Hafiz and tells him that he needs to fight it whatever it is. Only then the window of her house shuts, and when she goes to check it, we see that spirit possessing Hafiz. Meanwhile, 𝐇𝐄𝐒 gets shocked to see that the wall of the new mosque has collapsed again. The next day, Rini visits Aleph and says she wants to meet his grandfather. She is certain this has something to do with that new mosque. The Makmum spirit usually only disturbs her when she does her prayers, but since Hafiz got sick, it appears more often, and it means it wants to give her a lead. He takes him to Zahar, who tells her that when his great-grandfather cleared the forest that becomes this village, there is a part of the forest that couldn't be touched as it belongs to someone and they have been there for generations. So if something is taken from there, it needs to be put back immediately. When Ustad wanted to build the mosque near the forest, he asked for his opinion, to which he agreed, but asked him not to touch the forest. Now when Rini and Aleph go to the new mosque, Rini finds that a tree has been cut there. Later that evening, while Rini is washing up before prayers, we see a spirit standing there watching her, and when she begins her prayers, we see that spirit following her prayers. The spirit then suddenly haunts her and Rini gets terrified as it moves toward her. She then gets shocked to see that Hafiz's body is rotting and flies are hovering over him. Only then she hears some noise and finds Hafiz going out of the house. She begins following him and sees Hafiz entering the forbidden forest, but only then does she hear someone calling her name and gets shocked to see a black spirit on top of that tree. Hafiz then comes there and holds that spirit's arm and turns into that limp boy, and then they leave there. Aleph and Usted then come there and he tells Rini that Hafiz is at home. Rini then tells them that the spirit of the forest fooled her, as the Makmum that has been bothering her is that spirit and it wants to take away Hafiz. The next day, Aleph is taking Hafiz to the hospital, but Rini stops him and tells him that this is caused by the construction of the new mosque. The forest spirit is angry that the tree behind the mosque was cut. Only then a local comes there and tells them that Lastri's son has recovered. Later, she runs to the mosque and tells them not to cut the tree, but they do not listen to her and 𝐇𝐄𝐒 starts cutting it. Soon after, Rini gets possessed and tells them that he is going to die, but 𝐇𝐄𝐒 says death is God's will and it has nothing to do with the tree. Zahar also watches the tree falling from a distance and gets worried. Only then Hafiz comes there running, and they all get shocked to see that he has recovered. Usted tells everyone that they are relieved and everyone should go home now. Later that night, Rini with Hafiz go to the new mosque, and 𝐇𝐄𝐒 gets happy seeing her there and starts going toward her. He goes to her and asks her where she is going, but she doesn't say anything and leaves there, and 𝐇𝐄𝐒 starts following her. On the other hand, we see Rini praying with others on the 7th day of Mrs. Yanti's death, and Ayesha notices that she is looking weird. Meanwhile, Rini turns towards 𝐇𝐄𝐒, and Hafiz runs away from there in fear. Now as he kisses her hand, she transforms into her real form, seeing which 𝐇𝐄𝐒 gets terrified, and the spirit holds his head and spits blood on him. 𝐇𝐄𝐒 tries to flee but falls down from a cliff and dies. Here Rini gets normal hearing Hafiz calling her for help, and she asks them where is Hafiz. Ayesha says she told him he is with Aleph, to which she says she doesn't remember anything, and the last she saw him, he was in his room. Usted tells Rini that the jinn is using her, to which she says she had a vision that Hafiz is being taken to the forest, so they have to save him. Only then she gets possessed, and everyone gets terrified seeing this. Usted gets up and tells everyone don't be affected, and they all begin reading prayers. The spirit tells them that her house is damaged and then begins throwing the villagers out of the house, and then she runs out of the house screaming. Back in the forest, the spirit haunts Hafiz, and when he tries to flee, she begins chasing him. After a while, Aleph finds Hafiz there, and he tells him that he is scared. Aleph asks him what happened, to which he says Mom is weird. Meanwhile, the villagers begin searching for Rini in the forest, and Aleph comes there and asks them what is happening. Usted tells him that Rini is possessed and ran away, and then they decide to split up and find her. After a while, they find Rini standing on a rock, and they ask her to wake up, but Rini jumps and comes closer to them, and they get terrified seeing it. They then all begin reading prayers, but Rini makes the kids levitate in the air with her powers and throws them on that rock. Usted then comes there with Ayesha and Lastri, and he asks everyone to pray together. They all then begin praying, causing the spirit to get furious, and she uproots a tree and throws it on them. They continue the prayers, and Ayesha and Lastri try to go to the kids, but Rini spills some insects on them, causing them to go back. She then asks them if are they scared and calls them destroyers. Here Ajiz wakes up Aleph and asks him to come with him. After a while, Zahar finds Aleph and asks him who is he talking to. He says Ajiz, but gets shocked to see that there is no one there, and then Zahar sees that spirit behind him. He asks him to hold the plants and come with him. Here Rini strangles Hafiz and lifts him up in the air, and Usted tells her that he is her son and that she has been possessed by the devil. Hafiz says he loves her, and they all begin reading prayers, causing her to leave Hafiz. She then begins levitating in the air, after which the spirit comes out her and she falls down. However, the spirit then comes there in her true form and begins laughing. Usted begins reading prayers, but it doesn't affect her, and she drags Lastri's father towards her and spits some black liquid on his face. Ajiz then comes there and tell them to keep praying, as Naylah's energy is sucked empty by Rini. They then begin praying, causing the spirit to fall weak. Meanwhile, Aleph and Zahar plant those plants there, and he tells her that he has returned her house, so don't disturb them anymore. Usted then throws his praying beads on her, causing the spirit to burn, and then she disappears from there. Now after a few days that new mosque also gets completed, and as Rini leaves the village happily with Hafiz, it begins raining there, due to which the villagers get overjoyed and thank God for everything. Rini then thanks Aleph for helping her and Hafiz, but she is traumatized to come back here. She asks him if the old mosque will become a place to memorize Quran, to which he says yes. She then tells him that it reminds her of a friend of her and her name was 𝐀𝐋𝐖. He asks her where she is now, and only then Rini sees 𝐀𝐋𝐖's spirit there in her village, and the movie ends here. Please like and subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon never to miss new video updates. Thanks for watching.